somehow always kind of works out, with the amount of chairs. So a warm welcome to you all, and a warm welcome to all the friends that join us on Facebook Live tonight. Actually, the first question is if you can hear me. Can you put a thumbs up here online if you can hear me? So Pavita, can you?
I have to turn my volume up to do that because I don't have headphones. So.
No, they don't talking. They're only writing.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Sonia is saying yes.
Sonia, you can hear me? Okay, very good. So, welcome to Satsang. There's a few friends that have never been to Satsang. Who is that? 1, 2, 3. It's always a little challenging for me to describe what that is. It's Satsang, the translation is meeting in truth, and we have many concepts about truth, and there's one truth that doesn't need a concept, and this is who we are. So the whole idea, in a way, is that we are together returning to the deepest place within that has always been there. What does that mean? In everyday life we have all these different personalities that appear. For example, if you're a mother and your children are there, you're in a personality of a mother. If you're in the job, you're in the personality of a job person, whatever your job is. If you're a psychologist, suddenly you take on the personality of a psychologist. If you're a painter, or whatever you are, we keep changing personalities. And then deeper than that, we appear to have a more stronger identity around certain things. These certain things may vary. They may be your relationship, my husband, that's a good identity, or my wife. So that other completes your sense of self, but that's very shaky because this person may leave and then you freak out, because then you don't know anymore who you are. So from this point of view, we could say personality is a very shaky affair, especially when we deeply believe this is me. Can you relate to that? No, and we have all sorts of personalities. Some of us maybe are very rich, so we make a sense of self from the amount of money we have. Or we are very poor and we make a personality of not enough. Some of us love that. Even when, I have a few friends that live in the most beautiful place on earth, which is here, and it's never enough. So, if we look at it from a deeper perspective, going in, we may be able to find a much truer me beyond our personality. Now, we don't find that when we go out to objects with our attention, which we usually do every day, in relationship or in our connection to nature or in your family. We always go out and trying to get a sense of self through the connections we make. But also this sense of self is very shaky. Now there's an incredible collective situation with the COVID-19, and the whole world is shaky. Why? Because the old personality that it derives itself from my personal freedom, for example, freaks out in a lockdown. It's only the personality, it's only the thought forms that freak out. Otherwise, the true being is still here. And our personality is very much supported by our story. Do we love our story? I think many of us love story. We go to the Malle market. I was on the Malle market today, and you meet somebody. Oh, how are you? Oh God, no, I'm not so good. I really had a fight with my girlfriend. Suddenly, there is this really dramatic story that appears so interesting for the ego, for the separate sense of self. And then we compete about the most dramatic stories. And maybe you're all beyond that already, but we do that, no? And we decorate it. And then when the story is not so relevant in the moment, then we go to the past, into memory. And a good past, especially in suffering, is childhood. There's endless resources for suffering. No? As a child, this is what happened to me. Now there's a certain reality in it, but not really. And the ego usually freaks out when it hears this. So what do you mean? My trauma. I've been working on my trauma for so long, and it's still there. And you say it's not relevant? No, I'm not saying it's not relevant. It's very relevant, but it's not who you are. You're not your past. You're not your future. You're not, and now we can start peeling the onion. And I'm peeling it verbally a little bit, because later we're just going to sit and meditate. And then we can turn our attention to something that we normally very seldom turn our attention to. Because even when we go in, many of us turn the attention to what thoughts are there, and we follow thoughts. What emotions are there, and we follow emotions. What happens in the body, and we follow the body tensions or pains. We always put our attention on an object. Are you with me still? Yeah. If you are, can you do like this? I don't want to talk over your head, just to give you a little bit of a context of what this is about. So, where were we? Satsang. What is satsang? Attention. Yeah. Where is our attention? Yes. That was no? Thank you. You see, this is the thing. That's part of satsang. I have no idea what comes out of my mouth until it comes. But then it comes and then it's gone. There is no memory. It's a little bit embarrassing. It's not Alzheimer. I hope so. It may be. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. But it is. I'm sure you all have experienced this. That you find something expressing itself through you, and you listen as much as everybody else listens. That means it doesn't hold an egoic memory. This is why often I get asked, can you repeat what you just said? I said, no, sorry. But maybe somebody else who has a better memory, who takes the information in the memory, which is also helpful, can then repeat it. So, where's our attention? And this is really important to recognize. I remember many years ago, I lived in Pune for 10 years with Osho, and Osho was rattling our identity to the max. And he was rattling specifically our beliefs. And the cheeky guy made sure that 3,000 people in Buddha Hall are totally silent. Now, from the esoteric point of view, beliefs are vibrating in the throat. And when somebody challenges your belief, you need to cough. Yeah? If you have that in some, assemblies where somebody speaks, and suddenly everybody starts coughing, it is a reaction to throw out an unwelcome belief. Now, when you were coughing in Buddha Hall, you had to get out. That was a torture, because Osho was kind of disrupting all our identity with a very fine scalpel to point us to the truth. So, where's our habitual attention? In our belief. And if you have a religious belief, you're going to defend it against another religious belief. Our attention is on our ideals, how we should be, which is covering the heart, how we should be and should not be. Our attention is on survival strategies, how to keep our ego intact. Anybody has that? No? It's like, if somebody threatens your sense of self, we freak out and we go in survival, and then survival, which is stress, gets more and more, and now with COVID-19 there is even more stress, and most people get actually not sick from COVID-19 but from stress. At least that's one possibility to look at it. And then we put our attention on our emotions in the belly. So, we can go through all the chakras. And then we put our attention to the apparent need that this body needs to survive. Of course, we are not threatened, we are not in a war, but our psyche believes it. And then we need to defend ourselves. Now, as we move inward in meditation, as we allow everything to be as it is, that's what meditation is. It's not an art. You cannot be a good meditator or a bad meditator. It's not a skill. You don't need any skill for it. It is a space and time where we allow everything to be as it is. Sounds very simple, doesn't it? Because everything is already. And yet, our mind can only survive in either interpreting what is into good and bad, into right and wrong, into high and low. So our interpretation creates a separation. And that separation creates pain. And that pain creates strategies to avoid the pain. Are you with me? Am I talking about us here? Mm-hmm. I include myself. We are so sophisticated. And all that is a complete misunderstanding, because a little bit deeper than all these layers of ego and the ego repair mechanisms is something that everyone here knows that is the same since you can ever think. Do you have that? It's like there's something that's the same. When you look back when I was 3, when I was 10, when I was 20, 30, 40, 50, something is the same. Please do like this if you have that too. If you don't, do like this. I need to have you with us. No? Yeah? And that which is the same is kind of brushed away very easily, not becoming aware or being aware that this is an aspect of our truest nature. Take a breath. Now, this aspect is before the story. The story kept changing. The story, we were first a baby, and then we were a youth, and then we were a teenager, and so on. The personality changed, but that never changed. So the whole purpose, if there's any purpose in meditation, is to not get pulled into any of the objective contents that we can observe. Is that too complicated? It's like what is the objective content? Our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our body sensations, our sense perceptions, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting. Normally, this is where our attention goes, and out of that comes liking, disliking, judgment, high and low. And a little bit deeper, take a breath. We're going there now. A little bit deeper is what we call awareness. That which is aware of all these things. Now, that awareness cannot be the thing you are aware of. Are you following? If I'm seeing the picture, forgive me, I repeat myself for the old friends, but we cannot hear it enough, I think. If I see the picture, there is the object, the picture, there is the sensory experience of seeing, and then there is that which is aware of seeing. Right? Now, is that which is aware of seeing an object? It's not an object, but we are very clear, no? And yet it's very clearly here. Now, when we first time bring our attention instead of on the object, on that which is aware, it gets more interesting. Take a breath. So here's the object, here's the sensory experience, here's the awareness of the sensory experience. Now it gets really interesting, because when awareness doesn't have an object anymore, it falls back on awareness and becomes aware of awareness. Are you following? At least mentally. Now, when awareness becomes aware of itself, that's the only thing that Jesus and Buddha and Mohammed and all these guys have found in Osho. It's not difficult. You don't need 10 years of sitting in a cave. It is direct inquiry. So, in a moment when we're going to sit silently, if you like, you can without too much effort. It's not an effort. It's just a choice where you want to put your attention. And you can eliminate any object that awareness touches. So, for example, I'm sitting here and I have a little bit of a backache. If I hang on the backache, I'm caught in the object. But if I put my attention on that which is aware of the backache, the amazing thing, that doesn't have a backache. Awareness has no ache. Are you following? Mm-hmm. So, the word awareness is only a word that can never describe the reality of our true being. So there are many words that try to describe it, but no word works. That's why Lao Tzu said the Tao that can be spoken cannot be the Tao. No? So what are the words? Awareness, consciousness, love, presence, space, peace, God, nirvana, the infinite, the absolute. All words where there's nothing behind it. No thing. Infinite space. Are you following still? I think enough blah blah. Shall we meditate a little? So we're just gonna sit, and we follow, Tilopa. He's a tantric master. Tantra means being loose and natural. Are you getting cold? We can make it warmer.
Yeah, that'll be enough.
Yeah?
Our body's sort of warm enough.
Okay. So if anyone gets cold, we don't want to suffer. Even you can put your attention on that which is aware of cold. So loose and natural, nothing to do. Don't even try to be aware. Just let everything be as it is, because everything that is in the objective world is already held in that which we are, or in space, or in love. So as we allow everything to be, the walls of the ego structure, which is total arbitrary mind, may melt, may fall. Because ego is mainly made out of resistance. Whatever we resist persists. If you let everything be, no more resistance. And then when you find a choice, put your attention always a step behind the object, towards that which is aware of the object. Does that make sense? Because wherever we put our attention to is where our energy flows. And usually we put our attention to our story, and usually the negative story gets a lot more attention than positive story, because positive story, there's no resistance, it's joy, it's flowing. So, who wants to talk about it? Until the problem comes, and then we put our attention there. And this is how we perpetuate suffering, because we give it attention rather than being aware of it. If we bring the attention to awareness, be curious what happens. Okay? So we're sitting for about half an hour. And if needed, you can of course change your position. It's good to have the body still and to stay awake. It's also helpful to have the spine upright, and otherwise you allow everything to be as it is, just naturally. Because everything that is already. We don't need to change it. Let it be. Enjoy. And to honor that space, I'm going to dedicate the light of the candle to that in us which is aware. A deep breath, just from inside, gently becoming aware of the body again. But bring with you that depth, that space, that infinite. And maybe another deep breath and a good stretch, just to be fully in the body again, until you find a good moment to open your eyes to a new moment here. Now we can open this if you have anything you would like to share or ask or comment or doubt or whatever you want to say. And the same invitation goes to our friends online. If you have any question, Pavita is here today and she reads your comments and she's going to give me a sign if you have a question or if you want her to read something that you write. It's good, no? We go into silence and then there's nothing to say, because who we are is beyond story. And the amazing situation is that it's not just us here. It's like we are connecting to, I don't know if you felt that or feel this. For me, it's quite a beautiful experience to feel not just you and your presence, but all the friends around the world sharing, not just sharing, being this one silence. And now we all have lives where we are busy, but imagine, and I know many of you are already experiencing this, that the action we are doing in day-to-day life, like in Zen it's called chopping wood, carrying water from the well, whatever that is for us, going to the office or going to the garden or giving sessions or whatever your work is, when the action is fueled by emptiness rather than by ego, first, it's so much more pleasant. Second, it's so much more effective because there's no energy going into resistance and complaint, which happens a lot, especially for people who need to work. So the recognition of our innermost being, I think, is very, very helpful for every aspect of life, because isn't that what we all have been seeking for? Space, freedom, peace, love, connection. So you notice that the deepest connection is not by going out, it's by going in. And when we are home in nothingness, then 0 plus 1 stays nothing, and 0 plus, I don't know how many we are here, maybe 15, stays nothing, and 600 plus nothing is still nothing. Yes, Pavita. Somebody has a comment.
I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but it's Anders or Anders.
Anders.
Anders Retzer.
Yes.
And he's saying, my mind tries to define what a close, loving relationship is. Another part rejects any definition. and that scares me. Is there no thing there?
That's a beautiful question, because especially relationship, no? No? We love relationship, and we love love, and the moment our mind tries to figure it out, the ship sinks. The relationship. No? Because we are looking for love in the wrong place. Love is not in the mind. And unfortunately, many of us actually, if you're single, like I am in the moment, there is this longing for connection and love, and then we use the mind to figure out who could be the right person, and that never works. Why? Because there is no right person ever. Only when there is no more person, love is possible. Take a breath. This is my favorite topic here. Yeah. When there is, and of course the person, as you say, Anders, is very clearly, the person is scared like hell, because it dies. It has to give itself up. It has to be killed on the altar of love. That's why this song, "Killing Me Softly," with this song. It's a wonderful way to die. I mean, for the ego to die. Hmm? So, you already, in a way, gave yourself the answer. There's no love in the mind. The mind substitutes love with a certain concept or ideal or a certain belief. And then there is there's the beginning aspect of love, which is not yet love. It's kind of chemistry or attraction, or that's why it's called falling in love. No? Even falling in love is very scary, because we all know that we actually don't fall in love, we fall out of love. You meet somebody, there's love, there's this space that is open, and then very quickly we fall out of love and said, "You are mine now. I love you, and be sure you don't look at any other boy." No? Anybody has that? It's called jealousy. Now, jealousy has nothing to do with love. It has to do with egoic possessiveness. It has to do with creating a sense of self through being with the other. It is, if you have a gorgeous man, it's about being proud that this is my man and I can show him around. I mean, all this stuff is called love, but it's not love. And so only after falling, after meeting your fear, Anders, being totally scared because you're totally out of control and you don't know what's happening to you, and you're in a big question mark, and there's this huge not knowing that makes you kind of totally insecure in your ego structure. Isn't that nice? Oh. Yeah. And then you go through this phase in the honeymoon, and then only after the honeymoon, when the whole pain body stuff has also revealed itself, there's a possibility to rise in love. And that step many couples are missing, because they kind of compromise, or they adjust, or it's a practical or monetary agreement. or a family agreement, but it's not love. So love in this context is actually total freedom. Love is awareness. Love is space, like Deva said it so beautifully in her title for one CD. Love is space. No? And it's funny that lovers usually limit each other's space very quickly, because you're only supposed to love me, not anybody else. Doesn't work. Either you are love, then love includes everyone. Can you read the question again?
My mind tries to define what a close, loving relationship is.
Impossible. Your mind can only define what a practical and maybe matching relationship is, but not a loving relationship, because love is not part of the mind. Yes?
Another part of my mind, or another part, rejects any definition.
Very good. The other part that rejects any definition is a little closer to the intelligence that is inherent in you.
And that scares me.
And that scares me because it's moving into the unknown. Now, what is the unknown? This is really important to get. No? The unknown is the now. Love is only possible now, in this very moment. And this present moment you can never know, or can you? The moment you know it, it's already past. The moment you define it, it's already gone. The moment you make a concept out of it, it is a concept, not anymore the moment. So love and presence go totally together. And isn't that what we actually look for in the other? That if you can be present with me, then it makes two presences. And in that presence arises such a yummy feeling. And it's not part of time. No? Mind is part of time. The present moment has no time. It's eternally now. Love has no time. This is why when you look into your lover's eyes, beyond the person. Have you seen lovers? Or you remember yourself? You cannot stop looking. You just, And you totally merge and melt and disappear. And you saw 10 minutes has passed and it's 2 hours. So you're on the right track, Anders. Let yourself be scared, that's natural. But don't give attention to the scaredness. Give attention to that which the mind cannot define anymore, which is of pure space, of pure presence, of pure here and now. And the unknown is very scary for the mind. This is why the whole world is freaking out right now, because we don't know. Are we going to be in lockdown tomorrow? Maybe. And then, because when we look from outside inward, and many people are forced to do that because they are confined into their apartment, it is horrible. Because from outside looking in, it looks there is nothing there, it's empty. So then comes the panic buying. No? Let's kind of, if we are allowed to shop at all, let's shop quickly and fill the emptiness. And it can never be filled. So why not surrender to it and fall into it and discover the incredible grace and beauty, because it's not empty, it's full of divinity. Does that make sense, Anders?
Please just say thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. It's good. If I don't have a question, I have nothing to say. So if you have a question, maybe something comes. Or a comment. Or a challenge. Yes, come. Come here. So that they can hear you. There's a mic here. And they can see you.
Oh,
Look.
that's right.
You're looking at all these people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I find it always so hard to ask a question after
Sitting.
yeah.
Yes.
So for half an hour, I try to be empty and try to not think about things, and something comes up, and then I try to go behind it, and I'm like, oh, just empty. And then it's all finished and done, and then, oh, question. I'm like, oh, empty. So I thought, like, well, it's maybe better I think about the question before I come.
No,
Yeah.
it's better to just come
Okay.
and see what happens. Yeah?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing.
Nothing happens. And who is aware of that?
Me.
And who is that?
My consciousness.
That's too fast. That comes from the mind. Let the question, the famous question, of course, you all know it. Who is aware? But it's a very important question. No?
Mm.
Because you said you're so silent and empty, and then you come here and it's all finished. Is it really finished?
My emptiness?
Yes.
No, it's just filling up in the moment.
It's filling up with what?
Life.
Life. And who is aware of that?
I want to say my consciousness.
My consciousness?
Well, can't I say that?
Well, is it personal? Is it?
I thought it is.
Very good. So check. With thought, consciousness is personal. No? Check.
Okay, I will.
Close your eyes for a moment. You can check now. Is what you call consciousness, is that like something that is like an object then you can possess as mine? And then who is this me that possesses consciousness?
Oh, I thought it was inside me. Belongs to me.
Inside?
Sort of like, but not belongs to me, it's part of me.
It's part of you. And who is you? So if it's a part, then there is consciousness, and there's you, and it's a part of you. And who is that you?
Maybe that sort of like that body.
Are you the body?
And mind.
No, now you're trying to give me the right answer. I'm not interested in the right answer. It's more like...
I'm just trying to find out who is me.
That's very good! Me too, we all do. That's the most important question in the universe. Yeah?
Yeah.
What is this me? Now we can check. You said my body. Are you the body, or are you aware of the body?
Aware.
So then you cannot be your body.
Hmm.
Hmm?
Hmm.
Okay, so let's try again.
I'm aware of my consciousness.
I am aware of my consciousness.
I still got my consciousness.
It's you. Yeah. Okay. It's still your consciousness. And now check that. Is there, what is this me that has a consciousness? Is consciousness an object?
No.
No. So can it be mine?
No.
Can space be mine?
No.
Can the universe be mine?
No.
Okay. So then...
The consciousness.
You're still trying to give me the right answer. I'm not interested in that. It's more like, it's such an important quest, no? Because whatever we think is me, and we stay in an objective reality, we have to realize that's not me. That's what appears in awareness. So what's that me?
Nothing.
That comes from your mind. It may be the right answer, but check it. It's very strange. I am no thing. We can all check that. Check into the reality of this. Because if you are no thing, it cancels everything that you thought you are.
So I'm no thing, but I can feel pain.
You are no thing, but you cannot feel pain, or you can feel pain?
I can.
I can feel pain. Is that true?
My body.
My body can feel pain. Who is this I? Is that I the body? We just found it's not the body.
No.
So can that which is aware of the body pain feel pain?
The I. Who's the I?
Good question. Most important question. Who or what is the I? We say it every day, and we miss the incredible mystery of it. So who is the I?
I'm not sure anymore.
Great. So when we're not sure anymore, it opens kind of it opens a space, the I don't know space, the mystery space. Now, even I don't know can be perceived, otherwise you couldn't speak it out. By whom?
You know what I want to say. Oh.
Yes.
By that? Something that sits here?
Well,
my
is something...
No, I can't say mind. By the mind.
By the mind? Are you a thought? Mind is
sometimes for somebody. I'm a thought.
If you are sometimes, then that cannot be you, because you are that which never comes and goes. So if it's sometimes there, then it's not you. Then it appears in you.
I'm nothing.
Do you notice when the answer comes from a just from an idea rather than from a deep realization. There's no juice in it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now put juice in it. Really, I am nothing. Try this. Close your eyes. Let these words point you to the inexplainable and yet so real.
I like to sort of like say, I'm nothing.
Let's try this. I'm nothing.
It feels good.
It does.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that your true nature is everything you ever have been looking for? That what we call nothing is peace. You came here, you felt so peaceful. Is love, is joy, is life. And all these words are a lie too, because they label the unexplainable. That's why all these people say, I am that. What is that? And you say, it feels good. It's good. It
Thank
feels
you.
good.
It does feel good.
It does feel very good.
Yeah.
Now, can you lose it? Can you lose that which you are?
I can try.
Try to lose it now.
Still trying.
And are you successful? Can you lose it? Does it go anywhere? Does that which is aware in you,
It wants to come out.
it wants to come out? Does it need to come out?
No, it's stuck.
Who is aware of being stuck?
Me.
So that
My mind.
So that which is aware cannot be stuck.
Yeah.
It can be aware of stuckness.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So who are you?
Nothing. Nothing. I like the emptiness which comes with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's not coming with that, it is that.
Yeah.
Yeah? And it is overlooked everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
And the moment there is this remembering happening, it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. 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 I got the feeling I like to do that more often, to remind myself, like I'm nothing.
To remind yourself, yeah. Well, you can do it all the time,
Yeah.
because you are it.
Yeah.
No?
But sometimes I think that it takes a little bit time to change something or to, like...
Check this. Did it take time now?
Was very quick, huh?
Very quick.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't sit for 10 years in a cave.
No.
Repeating a mantra, I am that, I am that, I am that. And it's still a concept.
Yeah.
So what is really important is to recognize that actually I have always been that. No? Everything else was on top of it. Now get curious what happens when you allow that to express itself through this body-mind, rather than your thoughts and your beliefs and your strategies and your old definitions. When you allow the not knowing, the spaciousness, the infinite use this body and mind.
Mm.
That's really amazing and interesting.
Mm.
And that is the only hope, I think, for the whole world. Because what the human identification has done to this planet is a catastrophe.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was really fantastic.
Remember.
Yeah.
Let it kind of see. This is maybe a little glimpse, but that glimpse can be more and more and more, and suddenly you realize, I discovered the most precious thing in this lifetime that anybody can ever discover.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because then you see that most people walk around completely in a dream, and usually a nightmare.
Mm.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See, it's dangerous to come here. Yeah. Just feel this for a moment when we all together fall into this gap between thoughts, because we cannot grasp or follow any thought directly, and then there is this wonderful abyss, and it gets kind of amplified with friends sitting together, and maybe also with the friends around the world. It's like we're sharing plug wasn't in. Okay, I think now it should work again. Does it work again? So even the computer fell into the gap. It just got totally black. There are these incredible synchronicities in life where there is no time and no space, and things happen exactly in the right moment. It may be a coincidence that the battery went out, but maybe not. Maybe even the computer.
You need to actually, start it again. You need to press live again. However you go live on Facebook.
No, it is here. It is live because it says end live. So I think it should be coming back. Maybe we ask the audience around the world if you can hear me again. My computer stopped. Okay.
We have another question.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fariba. Hi.
Fariba says, but why the realization doesn't last? Seems that it comes and goes.
No.
Now Fariba, who is aware of the realization that comes and goes? Follow that quest. This is something that I hear many people say, oh, I realized my true being, and I was in bliss for weeks, but then it left. No, it didn't leave. Who you are is that which never comes and goes. But it gets obviously covered by a substitute identity called mind. No? And our stories are, we're very attached to our stories. The story of me, especially at the beginning, wants to catch up. I can talk from my own experience. It's like in 1999, there was an incredible awakening where everything was me. For months and months, I felt wherever I look, I see myself in every person, in every tree, in every ant, in every object. So that the veil had opened. And then my mind said, wait a minute, not so easy. The mind told me, I got it. And then the mind took it as a new feather of a new awakened personality. Look at me, I got it. Now it is maybe an important step. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's, for me it's been a kind of a decision that whatever I realized, I'm going to stick to that no matter what my mind says. Now the trap of the mind was more sophisticated. It made a sense out of awakeness, which is of course the same nonsense. And yet, something I thought I had anyway, something deepened, and it keeps deepening. No? And if I look, and you can test that for yourself. No? It's like maybe 5 years or 10 years ago, you got triggered by many things into a reaction. And then maybe a few years later, the same situation is just a situation. It doesn't trigger an emotional or personified response. And then a few years later, there's a less and less trigger. You become more and more empty. And less things kind of trigger you into a separate identity or a separate person. And you rest more and more into that which is aware, seeing things as they are. And then you actually find that the friends or the enemies that push your button the most are your greatest teachers, because they point out something or an area where you still identify. Last Sunday I had a little encounter that threw me into a very strong reaction. I said, wow, yeah, here, the ego comes in and is on battleground again. No? So ego is not better than awakened consciousness, but it can be in service of it when it, comes out and shows its teeth, and you see it. Oh my God! I lost completely the presence of openness into fight, flight, or freeze mode. And I was more freezing at the time. It's like total shock. So you cannot lose it, to answer your question, but it can be obscured by your mind, by your old beliefs, and by your habitual sense of self and personality. And we have to be a little bit compassionate with ourselves, because for centuries, if you look at human history, the development of the personality and ego was foremost important. And only a few people accidentally came across their true nature and became famous, like Jesus and Mohammed and Lao Tzu and Buddha and all these amazing masters. But then the mind created something out of this, which is incredible, that among millions of people, maybe even one handful are awakened. So that very idea becomes such a special thing. And nowadays it's really like saying good morning. It's really, somebody sits here, realizes, oh my God, it's true. That which I thought I am, I'm not that. I am that which is aware, and that is more like no thing, like pure space. It's available to everyone immediately, not later, but now. Just in a shift of focus, in a shift of attention. And the ego usually brushes it off first. Said, oh yeah, I'm nothing, so what else? No? But as it matures inside, it delivers everything we ever looked for. Not even delivered, it is a recognition that we have been this all the time. Our attention just wasn't there. So Fariba. No? When you think you lost it, I think a very important and good question is, if I think I lost it, there must be somebody aware of that thought. That's you. So, can that be lost? No. Is that complicated? No. Can the mind understand it? No. Forget it, mind cannot understand it. But you, that which is aware also of mind, can understand it. Or can know it. Does that make sense, Fariba? Does it help, or you're more confused?
No answer so far.
No answer. No answer is very good.
He says yes.
Oh,
Because it's such a delight, that's what it is.
yeah. Okay.
He says yes.
Oh, good. Good. Now, these days I I listen a little bit to Moji, who seems to be kind of the hotshot of awakening in the moment. And he has a beautiful homework, if you like, and I can pass that on to you. And the homework is, whenever you feel ready to do it, to just strip yourself from everything that you recognize you are not. For example, you leave your mind in front of the door, you leave your idea of the body in front of the door, you leave all your beliefs in front of the door, you leave your story in front of the door, you leave everything you can describe in front of the door. You basically peel yourself from anything that you can be aware of. So if there's a feeling, you let the feeling in front of the door. If there's a body sensation, you let the body sensation in front of the door. So you become completely naked. And investigate, it's an inquiry, and investigate what is here, what cannot be peeled anymore. I would recommend this. That is kind of, deepening that which the mind cannot understand and yet which is so real. Because it's the only no thing that doesn't come and go. It's the only space, if you like, the only real you. Mm. And then after your meditation, if you like, you can have it all back. Or you leave it, see how it is. See how life takes you without you interfering. And you will notice something very strange, that all your gifts that you have already express themselves so much easier without you. Because then a bigger force, the whole universe, the whole divine presence, the whole existence acts through you, speaks through you, hugs through you, loves through you, celebrates through you. Try this. Thank you for this satsang. And we have a few more Friday evenings. I don't know when they will end. Probably not so quickly, because COVID keeps me here and you here. And apropos COVID, if you could all write your name on that list outside and a phone number, in case this is like COVID-19 regulations. Yes, come.
Really?
Yeah. This is Pavita, by the way.
So.
Yes. It's okay.
I'm a little shy.
Yeah, that's
A bit
good.
of shyness comes now.
Let's try.
So
Let's be shy.
there's been an impulse for some time since I came back from living with Muji, and a lot of encouragement from my friend here to offer an evening. And so it's not going to be like this, and yet it will be like this. Because at the core, it's the same, but obviously we're different flavours. It's not called Satsang. So on Monday nights, not starting next Monday, but the following one, which I think is the 24th of August, because it's the day before my birthday.
Good.
So I'd love to invite anybody who wants to come. It's going to be called Open Space with Pavita.
And she's hot. You have to come.
So the format will be a little bit like an introduction, not so many words, but an introduction. And then I'm going to do a really beautiful, I've been doing these really beautiful guided meditations where it just guiding us together with myself into this emptiness, just actually fully directly experiencing what it's like to reference oneself behind the lens of perception. So it's like the reference point shifts from person to presence. And then there'll be an open space for dialogue, conversation. I don't really want to put myself in a position at all, any position, but I just want to be available and just see what unfolds, you know. So I would love it if anyone wanted to join. And
pass the word.
do I do it on the Facebook as well?
That's up to you.
So maybe I'll do it on Facebook now as well. So thank you.
Yeah, Pavita. And it needs more.
At 7 o'clock, and probably 7 till around 9. It won't be later than 9. And yes, by donation, but I really feel that to start off, I just want to offer it. It's not about wanting to get anything back. I just want to just discover what happens in that space. It's been a longing for quite some time.
And it's time.
And whereabouts?
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. My dear brother Asya
in
is
this
supporting
charged temple here.
for supporting that, so we'll be here. So maybe you'll send a mail for me because I don't have everyone's email address, just maybe once, and then
I could do that. I don't know if you're not on my email list and you want to, please.
and I'll also post it on my Facebook and on my I'm trying to create an email list, so but just to begin, and then we'll see where it lands.
So practically, you anyway put your name on the COVID list, and if you want to be on my list and you're not, just make a little cross behind it, okay? And there's tea and cookies out there, and there's also a little donation box there. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Remember who you are at any given moment, especially when you're completely upset and freaked out. Know that even the freak out is wonderfully held in the empty space that you are. Nothing needs to change. Okay? And next Tuesday, I'm on next Tuesday in Temple Byron. Greg invited me to share the Atisha heart meditation. It's a very powerful, beautiful meditation to transform suffering into presence and love. So please come to Temple Byron. It's an amazing place if you haven't been there. No? Greg is the guy that organizes the Tuesday evenings.
We're even considering that we may do the main event live in addition to the preview. But
good.
That's a separate conversation.
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. Also around the world, be well. Many blessings. Stay alert and aware. Namaste.